What's up, everybody? So, I'm trying to do one video every day this month of August, and I realized we're coming to an end of the day and I haven't shot a video. So right now I'm right here at Walgreens, and it made me think about when I worked here back in the day, probably about 10 years ago, actually. About 9 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago. And while I was working here, I was pregnant with Nisi, my oldest daughter, and I was 4 months pregnant. Well, it was like midday, and I was working a 10 to 6 shift, so 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. midday shift. And I remember it was a guy. He came in, and when he came in, he walked around to the back aisle. So he came through the front door, and came around through the side to the back aisle. He was on his way to the pharmacy, and I just so happened to, I'm always checking out my surroundings. So just so happened, I looked up, because you hear when that door opens. So I looked up because I'm trying to greet my customers coming in, because I worked in the cosmetics department, the beauty department. I was a beauty advisor. And you try to catch those customers that walk through your area so that I can keep the beauty sales up, so that I can keep my position. So he came through that part and was walking back through pharmacy, and while he was walking down the aisle, he pulled a mask over his head, and he pulled a machete out his pants. So he was walking back, and when I saw that, I freaked out. I'm 4 months pregnant. I'm like, oh shit, something about to go down. So I went to the office. And keep in mind now, and as a regular employee, you're not supposed to have the office code, but you can't keep nothing from me. I know everything. So I put the office code in, and I was like, I called the manager, and I was like, hey, you need to call the office ASAP. So she calls, and she got a stank attitude immediately because I'm in the office. And she was like, what are you doing in the office? And I was like, that's not even what you need to be concerned about right now. We finna get robbed. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I just saw a guy come in. He put a mask over his head, and he pulled out a big long knife. And so she was like, are you for real or are you joking? I'm like, I'm dead ass serious. So she kept asking me, are you for real? Are you for real? And I'm like, I'm about to hang up the phone. I suggest you go back there to pharmacy and check on them, because that's where he was heading. And so she was like, okay, call 911. So I called 911. Now, 911, the operators, they tend to get on my nerves. That was my second encounter with the 911 operator, and both times that I've encountered with them was horrible. The first time, that'll be another story time. So this was my second encounter with 911 operator. So I called, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, we being robbed. And so their response, I was like, you need to send somebody out here ASAP. So their response is, well, how do you know you're being robbed? I said, because a guy walked in, he pulled a mask over his head, and he pulled out a weapon. Well, how do you know it was a weapon? Just the thought, common sense, if somebody's pulling a mask over their head and then pulling out a knife, they're probably planning on doing something with it, right or wrong. And so she was like, well, did he use it? So at this point, I'm frustrated. I'm like, lady, either you're going to send somebody out here or not. And if you're not, that's going to be on you if somebody gets hurt. So finally, she's like, okay, we're going to send somebody out ASAP. They'll be there shortly. Just stay where you are. And I was like, honey, you ain't got to worry about that. I'm definitely going to stay where I am. So finally, the guy, he ends up leaving the premises. He jumped the pharmacy counter, and held one girl. She was 4 months pregnant as well, but he held the knife up to her, and demanded that they give him the pills that he wanted. And so of course they did, because they didn't want anybody to get hurt, in hopes that he wouldn't hurt anybody. And so he jumped the counter again and ran out. So the police, they come and they ask for a description, and I give them one. So I'm back in the office still. I'm like, I'm not coming out. And so they ended up catching the guy. He ended up going across the street to a Burger King, where he took the medication that he stole, and he was kind of out of it a little bit. I guess he took so much of it at one time, it was taking an effect like quickly. So then I'm gonna keep looking because I'm in the Walgreens parking lot. But so then they catch him, so they bring him back into Walgreens, and they're wanting me to identify him. I'm like, is y'all fucking crazy? Like, I'm not finna identify him when then if he makes bail or gets out, he gonna come looking for me. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I was like, y'all gonna have to come up with another way, cause if he has the pills, that's the person. Okay, I'm not going out there and saying, yup, that's him, that you got him. No, not me. So I did not follow along with that. I did not do that. I just stayed back in the office and told him no, I wasn't doing it. So after that, you would think that the manager would be like, you know what, everybody on this shift, y'all just need to, we just need to shut down for a few hours or for the rest of the day, anything. No. She was like, okay, back to work. I'm like, I'm going home. I'm traumatized, bitch. I'm going home. So I left, and yeah, that was the time that there was a robbery that went on at my job. So that was my first story time, guys. So if you enjoyed that story time or didn't enjoy it, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Do whatever your heart pleases, and I will see you guys in the next flipping video.